Doing a little work to the Trans Am today. It's going to kind of be a this and that video. Nothing too major here. Start with something easy here. When I bought the car, it didn't have any floor mats, so I got a set of reproduction GM type floor mats. Quality on them seems pretty good. I think this car might be missing the courtesy lights that go on the bottom side of the dash here. Something to look at a later date. I'm on to working on these lug nuts. This is probably a reproduction type lug nut, and all the caps are coming off. Super annoying. But you can see the stud is sticking out of the end there just a little bit. So I got some of these Cal Custom jobs. They're one piece, has a conical tapered seat, and taking a measurement on it. There's plenty of clearance to fit that stud. It's just a standard 7/16/20 right hand thread. The actual size of it's a little bit different than what was on there. But as long as the base properly holds the rim down, I'm fine with it. And actually, instead of a 3/4 fitting on there tight, a 19 fits on it the best. So I'll run it in with that. And since I'm talking about lug nuts, I wanted to show you one of these guys. This is one of those jobs that had like the stainless cap over the top of the metal nut. It was a two-piece. A wise old man that owned a junkyard once said, "Whoever invented these should be shot." I can't argue with that. These caps always come off of here, and then you got to go find a different socket to try to get them off. It's just a complete pain in the ass. They look pretty good to me. Kind of wish they would have left the stamping off of them though. I did work on these back brakes a little bit off camera. The adjusting star wasn't clicking on this side, and the other side actually has a cracked shoe, probably from being over adjusted, but all that'll be addressed at a later date. So I'm going to zip this wheel off, and then we'll take a look in there together for the first time. Just notice the front actually had different types of lug nuts than the back. The front ones were one-piece type. Nothing too remarkable here. Looks like a brand new rotor. Pad's got a ton of meat. Looks like some new caliper bolts. So surely a brake job was just done on this. The stop that limits downward travel has seen better days. In fact, these upper control arm bushings have seen better days. And when I get to it, I'm going to put some springs in this car and do all the control arm bushings, upper and lower. Looks like I'm missing something here. Maybe a filler panel goes here. I don't know. I have to research it. The driver's side is also missing this panel right here. I looked on the 72 and it does have filler panels there, so I'll have to find a couple for this car. The ball joint was changed. I know that because it has bolts and not rivets. So I'd show you guys this grease cap. I don't know what happened to this dust cover here. I mean, how the hell does anything even get like that? Probably got a spare one somewhere. It was barely held on there. Looks like she got stoved in pretty good. Right up to the spindle. Wonder if it was rubbing on there. It almost looks like it was. In the past I've had this cotter pin rub on here and make a ton of noise. It took a minute to find it. Both of the spindles in this car have seen better days. Wonder if I can just get that piece and put that in the knuckle. It's kind of goofy, but it almost looks like there's a repair sleeve on here for the seal. Same on both sides. Looks like it has some Koyo bearings in it. Made in Japan. Could be a lot worse. Toss it in my trusty bearing packer. You know, they still have a massive radiation leak going on at Fukushima. It's really a crying shame that that's happening over there. I think if the world's doing anything, they should be trying to fix that mess. Say there's an underground river there, but I think they could probably build a cofferdam around the whole damn place and plug it if they had the ambition. You can see that kind of forces the old grease out. Just look at it right in the packer. I got as much play out of it as is going to come out of it. Kind of a fine line with those bearings. You don't want to go too tight with them. This dust shield had a little bend to it. Let's see if I can get that out. Well, it looks like it was starting to actually cut in there too. I got it somewhat straighter. Shouldn't rub now. Maybe Paul can straighten this thing. That's above my pay grade though. I got this old one I'm going to try to clean up and see if I can get it to pop on there. The other cap wasn't even hardly on there, but I got this to spin noise free now. Alright, the brakes are back together. Neither caliper was frozen. I think maybe one or both of them were replaced. Maybe there's some air in the lines, I don't know, but the fluid looks like crap. So I'm going to try a little gravity bleeding here. Not much air there. I think I'm just going to let that run for a while though. I see impurities coming out of it. Try to get some fresh fluid in this car. Make sure that the master never runs dry at any point. Looks like it could be a somewhat new master. But you can just see how nasty that fluid looks. So we'll fast forward to when I'm done bleeding the front. Actually, I might switch over to the driver's side and work from the closest wheel to the farthest wheel away in the car. I got a little impatient. I shut the bleeder, took a turkey baster, sucked all the old fluid out. You see how dark it is now that it's in that cup. I'll put some fresh fluid in that master, and then we'll get this stream of brake fluid going again. You can see the difference here. So I get the fresh brake fluid running through the veins now. I'll do the same for the back once I'm done with the front. Here I preloaded the lower control arm, trying to get all the stress off that ball joint. And I was moving that wheel in and out, see if there's any play, and it's tight. Wheel's got some play in it, just trying to figure out where that's coming from. Looks like a number of joints are a little bit loose. A lot of it's probably coming from the steering box. That shaft's moving around there a little bit. So old car, old parts. We added that bearing holder in the steering column, and we're pretty sure we got the steering column back on the box the way it came off. We also indexed the wheel to the witness mark, and with the wheel centered, this wheel's turned in. This one's turned out. I'm going to spin these sleeves an even amount on both sides to try to get the wheels squared up with the steering wheel. Well, I was just looking at the driver's side, and those rod ends are actually butted up against each other the way it is. The other side's kind of tough to see, but they're pretty far apart. Ideally, after the alignment, I want an even gap on the tie rod ends on both the driver's side and the passenger side. Got this tool to grab that sleeve, and I'm going to start with full rotations. Let's go at least one more. So that was 3 turns. I'm going to turn the other side 3 turns too and see how it looks. I think I'm going to go for one more. I think I'll try that. I'll cinch both of these sleeves down here and then see how it goes down the road. And I'm looking at my gaps now, and here's the driver's side. And there's the passenger side. They're actually pretty equal now. Imagine that. I bought what I believe to be the correct fitting for the back of the carb. There are a couple options. I went with 2 vacuum nipples or 1. The AC car, I'm thinking maybe it came with 2. I don't know. That way I can get rid of this big ugly metal tube that's not supposed to be there. And if you recall, it's not the original carb for this car. So I thought I'd take a minute and show you this thing I got off eBay. It's supposed to be the numbers and period correct carb for the car. Such a nice piece, so I'm not going to put it on at this point. The car's going to be sitting all winter. I don't want gas sitting in it. And I may never even run this car, but I might just sell it with the car. As long as that old bird keeps functioning okay. Dump a bunch of gas over my freshly painted engine here. I'm just going to take the carb off. I don't think I can get that fitting on there with it on the car. So far, so good. Looks like we got a different thread here. Luckily, I had a bushing here. I'm not really a fan of using Teflon paste on cars. Got the filter, but no gasket. I got out my Rochester carb box and got a series of gaskets here. I think it's going to be this clear one. It doesn't really fit on there the best, but no need for paste on this setup here. I dumped the stuff out of my filter too. There's a little bit of crap inside there. It's pretty clean. Try to shove this in here first. Spring filter with hole facing out. Someone just commented I got a really old video on doing this. And I'll crank that down once we got her back on the car. Got my brake booster line as good as I'm going to get it. I think I am going to be replacing the brake booster in this car. Pretty sure that thing's weak. I got a little bit more vacuum out of it with the mixture screws. Something's up with the timing. I got to play around with that vacuum advance a little bit and just keep working on it. Might be a couple minutes before the next video. I think I'm going to take the transmission back out of it and then go for a looser converter. I might take that Transgo shift kit out and switch it up to a B&M shift kit. I don't really like the results of the Transgo shift kit. And that may be just the way I set it up, but I was getting kind of harsh downshifts. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I got a bunch of dash components coming, so we'll have a dash video coming up. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.